Well, Neil, obviously hugely disappointing. How do you assess your performance in the match?
I was quite heavily hamstrung in a way. I had you know really bad tip problems coming into the match, and then it was sort of like pretty evident last night. I really struggled with that, and I thought I did pretty well to keep it 6-3. I guess the thing is that Rob played so well that he never really allowed me to kind of recover in any way from that, and so I put on a new one this morning and had an hour hit with it. It was all right, and then just going out there, it's just completely different. You saw what happened with Mark Williams a couple of years ago when he changed tips, and then it's very very difficult out there playing on a brand new cloth with a new tip, and the only person who can sort of really seem to do it effectively is Ronnie, and that so it's disappointing from that point of view. But I've got to give Rob credit for how well he played. He was relentless throughout, and I had a slight sniff at 6-5, but he just rattled off the last four frames amazingly well, and yeah, he really deserved the win. I think long are the days gone where there's shocks and stuff in the first round. I think in some ways people talk about whether or not it's advantage coming in. And I definitely have to agree that apart from drawing Ronnie first round, I'd be quite happily to play anybody else first round, knowing I've won 3 matches within a week, and then somebody else is coming in cold, and you've got the ranking points secure and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I guess the best thing would be to have a flat draw 1-8, but that's kind of impossible to do, really. There's no way you can really do that at the World Championships.
Interesting what you say, though, about players that have come through qualifying 3 hard matches. You're the 6th top seed to go out in the first round.
Yeah, but it's just the way people look at shocks and stuff, and there's no way Joe Perry was a shock beating Mark Selby. Lazowski against Bingham as well, and it's different if you put the two players, give them both 3 matches. It's a completely different sort of outlook. I don't know why. So yeah, I mean, long are the days gone where even like 10 years ago there would probably be 2 or 3 banana skins in a draw, but other than that it was easy. They would come down that curtain, and then they're just happy to be there. Not really look. They're trying to make the score respectable. They're not trying to win. Whereas nowadays everyone is trying to beat each other. And the pressure doesn't really come on the qualifiers probably until the last 16, where they're trying to get to the quarterfinals of the World Championship. So that's the only time where maybe we'll see with Rob against Mark Williams that we'll see how he handles that. I mean, if he plays as well as he did there, he wins the match. But will he be able to handle getting to the quarterfinals of the World Championship for the first time in the same way? That remains to be seen. But yeah, it's just you were a nose hair away from losing Ronnie as well. So yeah, it's just the way it is. It's good for the game to have more players coming through, and to have them not crumble. It's healthy for the game. There's no doubt about that. But snooker now is not about sort of how many quarterfinals or semi-finals you have in a season. It's about how many trophies you win. And for me to come away with 2 big trophies after a pretty tough season, sort of away from the table and stuff, really happy with that. Just obviously disappointed to not have a good run here for sure.
So is your disappointment here slightly tempered by the fact you've had to put a new tip on, which is your biggest nightmare in any tournament, particularly this one?
Yeah, it is for anyone. There's no I'm not making excuses, but it's just the facts. It's just I made mistakes in the match that it's like impossible to make. So it's just it happens, and you have to deal with it. It's just unfortunate. I wish it happened in China and not here, obviously, like anybody else. But yeah, it's just something you have to deal with. It's unfortunate, it really is, because you got like a cue that's probably worth about £1,000 or something, and then you got something that costs a few quid on top of it, and if it's not right, then it's very very difficult. So yeah, that's just the way it is. But I can't state enough how well Rob played. He would have beaten any of the seeds with the way he played.
I know you probably couldn't care less who wins it now, although you'd obviously like to see Joe Perry go on and challenge for it. But given what you were saying about how open it is, do you see it as being the most open World Championship for a few years?
While Ronnie's still in, no. That has to be said. Depends. If Ronnie's, I think he would have. I think he would have liked. He would have his eyes would have opened up a bit with Selby going out, because playing Selby over 35 frames is not the most enjoyable experience. And so yeah, I think that the players that are left in the tournament now also kind of suit Ronnie. They all kind of pretty attacking players, and no one will sort of do his head in, bog him down. And well, actually, apart from Ali, he's going to be trying to grind his gears big time. So that'll be interesting to watch. So Yeah, that's probably going to be the most entertaining match, I'd say, in the World Championship, because Ali will be trying his best to do Ronnie's head in, and but that's part of sport, So yeah, if Ronnie can keep his head, then I think it's his. But players like Judd Trump and John Higgins, I'm sure will have something to say about that. And yeah, I wish Joe all the best as well. I'd love to see him do really well and get back to the one table setup. He's only been there once before, and yeah, I feel he's someone who deserves that experience more often.
Just one, coming back to what you said about the qualifiers. I mean, when that system was brought in, whenever it was 3 or 4 years ago, all those players sort of ranked 17 to 32, there were howls of disapproval, weren't there, that they had to play 3 instead of 1.
From them?
Yeah, for a lot of the people who had to play the 3 rather than just play 1 to get here.
Right, okay. The 17 to 32 guys,
17 to 32, but it seems like you say it's flipped completely around for them, isn't
it?
Yeah,
that was just based purely on prize money. That was nothing to do with in terms of how much more difficult it would be to qualify for the Crucible, because so the first round of the Worlds in the qualifiers, if you're ranked 17 in the world, you're still playing that match for £9,500, like or nothing, and that it's pretty huge. Whereas you used to be kind of guaranteed that money for even if you lost. So they kind of had that guarantee taken away. I can understand the disappointment of that, because even as a top 16 player, while I don't get any ranking points for losing, I still get my prize money. So it's a bit of a strange one. So I could understand that, but no, I'd rather play 3 matches all day long. Yeah, absolutely. Rob's come here, nothing to lose. He's nicked, I don't know, 18 grand or something like that. So it's pretty sort of decent for him. He's come here, comes out to the side to drink a song, and the crowd go nuts. And yeah, he enjoys the experience, and he's approached it the right way. I think. Yeah, I'd rather play 3 matches coming in. I definitely would. I'd rather play 3 matches coming in than being a seed, for sure. If you're not good enough to win the 3 matches to get here, you're not going to win first round here anyway. So.
Do you think it would be tough for a qualifier? I know Ding did it, but to go deep, do you think they might run out of steam?
No, if someone runs out of steam, it'll be their own fault for not being in the right physical shape or mentally strong enough. I think Ding showed that. I think Sean Murphy come here as a qualifier, won it. So, the more matches you play, the better. Depends on your style of play. If you play the game, even Alan McManus qualified, got to the semis. Pushed Ding pretty close. That's sort of dead and buried. I think that argument now. I think coming here with 3 matches under your belt is definitely an advantage, no doubt about it.
Betfred, proud sponsor of the World Snooker Championship.